Yeah.
All right.
Hello, Ardyth, and thanks for taking the time to chat. Welcome to the first episode of this express coaching call, which are around 30 minutes. So I just wanted to say that I appreciate you jumping on this call with me, especially I know you're busy because it shows that you're committed and ready for a change. Oops. So in return, I'm going to make this call super valuable for you and make sure we
Okay.
come up with a solution to help you get started so you can see some progress in your fitness and health journey and or weight loss. I know your goal is not weight loss, but yeah. So, okay. Um,
Okay. Great. Thank you for having me here, Pamela. I'm looking forward. This should be fun.
yeah, for sure. So, first question is, so you said you are someone who listens to their body more
Mm-hmm.
so than having a consistent daily self-care practice. So, how is that
Mm-hmm.
impacting you not having a consistent daily self-care practice?
Well, it actually helps me to be kinder to myself
Mm-hmm.
because I tend to have, like a default mode of having almost too high of expectations for myself, and then things get in the way, and yeah, I've just learned that it's been easier for me overall because I'm a pretty sensitive person, um, not just emotionally, but I've learned over the years that my body's pretty sensitive as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I really focused on listening to my body and um, putting in the time to work out when I recognize that I need to, and that can be in all sorts of ways. And it also has to do with being a busy mom, and for the most part. So, and also because my work schedule, it's not consistent because of what I do. So yeah, I've learned to appreciate and be kinder to the inconsistency within my life. And I've met a lot of women in the last little while who have, especially who are moms, and they find life's a lot easier for them when they embrace that, the inconsistency of the consistency. Do you know what I mean? Because so much of our world has things that have been designed that work really well for men's health. That 9 to 5, for example, there are theories that say that that was designed with men in mind far more than women, whereas women are more about the ebbs and the flows. Like, just even you think about it with the way that a woman goes through a, a release of eggs,
Mm-hmm.
every month. And so if you look at historically, women actually went into red tents when they were going through their period. And it was a
Yeah.
time for them to actually nurture each other. It was a time for them to be away from their partners and to look after their children in nurturing ways. And so that's something I do take into consideration, that um, our bodies are constantly communicating to us. So I have definitely become more intuitive with my body over the years. I'd love to be even more intuitive. I know some women that are they're just able to recognize exactly what is going on with themselves,
Yeah.
when it comes to menstruation cycle, but I've never really been able to get there.
Yeah,
I bought books and everything for it, but haven't got there yet. So
yeah,
yeah.
men's hormones are definitely different than women's hormones, right? Like, I mean, men go
Hmm.
through something called andropause, I think, but their hormones reset every day. Whereas women, I also read, I even seen business coaches doing this, like do your business based on your cycle, like your follicular, luteal, menstruation, and
Mm-hmm.
ovulation. Like what do you call that? During menstruation, when we're bleeding, we
Mm-hmm.
should not be writing a landing page. We should not be um we should not be trying to make sales because we're more tired, right? And then when we are, I think it's follicular or luteal, this is when we're most energetic, something like that. I think it's follicular. And then
Yeah.
it's also times in our cycle when we should, like, yeah, when I give a workout plan, for example, there's like, you do the workout for like 4 weeks before I change it and progressive
Mm-hmm.
overload. But there will be probably a week where you're maybe deloading, right, doing less or lifting heavier because you're on your period. Like
Yeah.
if I work out heavy on my period, or if I do like jumping and stuff, I just get a headache. Like I can't really do it. I'm just like, I'm not in the mood to really work out, but I still do it and I feel amazing. But um when I'm working out, I'm already getting a headache because I'm pushing myself during that time of the month, right?
Yeah. And we're all different. Our And that's the thing. I mean, so that's why it's so important to learn to listen to our bodies, because experts can say this and that, and but at the end of the day, we are the ones that have to live within our own bodies and within our own minds. And so, depending on what our lifestyle is, finding ways to work within our lifestyle that are effective, I believe, is the overall goal. The thing is that in our society, and I definitely feel this more in the North American society, like than some of the other places that I've lived with in the world, is that we just we take something to move forward because we have to.
Mm-hmm.
But if we were given the opportunity to live exactly the way that our bodies are communicating to us, that we that our bodies want us to live, then we would live very differently.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
And before I ask you more questions about the sleep, something I know you
Yeah.
wanted to talk about how to improve your sleep, how to have more energy with lifestyle wise, because how you help with energy is different, right? Um,
Yeah.
and you also wanted to talk about perimenopause. So one thing that I noticed in your questionnaire is that
Hmm.
so okay. I'm not sure what are your fitness and health goals. I know that you told me that you want to be healthier, right? And you want to probably tone up. But
Yeah.
you should be, so you need to drink more water than 2 to 3 glasses a
Oh
day.
yeah. I,
You need to
I was
be.
actually I was actually thinking about that. I was actually wondering, if I were to drink this all in one day, how much would be it? Does it say on the bottom? Oftentimes it does. 473 milliliters right here. And this is just water.
Okay,
I
cool.
definitely know I could do better with drinking more water.
So
I find the challenge is if I drink something else and I don't drink enough water, but if I'm only drinking water, then I'm able to do it.
mhm.
But
so
it's a conscious thing.
so
I love
also,
water. I love
mhm,
water, but it's a conscious thing.
for sure. Um,
Hmm.
I forgot what I was gonna say. Oh, also
Sorry.
to improve your water. I know I'm currently using plastic, but to improve your hormones, especially if you're going through perimenopause,
Hmm.
to drink stainless steel or like aluminum, right? Because this is will cause more estrogen and stuff like that.
Okay, well, I've got here, what is it? It's from Starbucks. I'm pretty sure it is stainless steel or aluminum.
So
I
you
know
like
it's,
drinking water, right?
I love drinking
You don't have
water.
an issue? Okay.
Yeah.
So you said so because you said you're drinking 2 to 3 glasses a day, um if you drink more water, that can increase your energy too, especially first thing in the morning. You can either put like either can have ice water or like warm water. Put lemon, stuff like that. That will wake you up already. It's better than coffee first thing in the morning, which a lot of people do, not just
Oh,
women.
yeah.
A lot of people do that.
Yeah.
So t-
I
if
get
you
that.
if
I
you're
get,
telling
sorry, I was just gonna say something. Is it
so
okay
if
if I
you
just say something?
um sure.
Okay. So I get what you're saying because I know that drinking water helps to balance our blood sugar levels. I
Mm-hmm.
know that
Improves your digestion too.
flavoring my water would probably have me drinking more water. I actually took the time to do all that for my kids' birthday parties so that they weren't drinking a lot of sweet things, as I would prefer that for them.
Mm-hmm.
I know that our bodies are made up of a lot of water. So like what you're sharing with me right now, I get all that. I think the thing is, Pamela, it's about having somebody to say, are you drinking your water? You
Yeah.
know, I know what to do, but am I doing it? And you probably have studied that from what you from what you have learned so far with being a fitness coach. And I know from my experience, from my um, studies, that I have also learned a lot of those things. But a lot of the times, it's we know these things, but are we doing them? Sorry, I just had to say that because I just wanted to make sure that you knew that I knew that, because I think that's important to know that. And
Mm-hmm.
continue on, and I will try not to interrupt you from now on.
Yeah. So if you're telling me your weight is around 140 pounds, um,
Mm-hmm.
how
Mm-hmm.
to know to drink more water is you're going to divide your body weight in pounds in half. And so that's how many ounces of water you should be drinking per day. And when I calculated that, it's that 70 ounces you should be having a day. And if you're working out more or you're more active on days or it's hot, whatever, you can drink more. That's fine. And then
70 ounces. Okay.
something that I encourage my clients to do um,
Mm-hmm.
is to keep accountable of your water, which I help them keep accountable as well. Like I ask one
Mm-hmm.
girl how much water does she drink a day, to keep her habit because she loves
Mm-hmm.
sugar. So so is put, for example, if your goal is to um Hmm. Put six elastic bands or how many bands around your water bottle. For example, you want to drink
Hmm.
60 ounces, for example, right? If that's the goal, 60 ounces. But you don't go, if you're just drinking 2 to 3 glasses a day and I'm telling you to drink 70 ounces, around 70 ounces or more a day, but you don't just slowly go, you don't just go big, right? Go straight to 70 ounces. You slowly go there like around 1.5 weeks to 2 weeks, you can slowly increase, right? It's for your body to
Hmm.
adjust. So let's say your goal is to drink 60 ounces of water a day, for example. So put six elastic bands around your water bottle.
Okay.
Remove one
Got one
bottle,
already.
then remove one
Okay.
band with every bottle drank. And then after that, they tell me tonight how many are left. If there's nothing left, that means they drank all.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
Yeah. No, that's great. I love wearing elastic bands on my wrist just because I have my hair up or down, up or down. So I'll do that. And
okay.
I have a bunch of colorful ones that I like looking at. So perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Love that. Great idea.
And then the second thing. So, um, let me just write that first thing. That's the first thing I wanted to put is water because the sleep week I can talk a lot about and perimenopause too.
Mm-hmm.
um,
Mm-hmm.
so, um, you said if your consistent daily self care practice is not consistent, but you said you're already struggling with having a consistent sleep routine, right?
Hmm. Yeah. The thing and maybe you've learned this from moms is we spend so much time. Okay, I'll just talk about myself. I can't talk about all moms. As a mom, I love spending time with my kids. Like
Mm-hmm.
I love it. And I know that they're only small for so long. I know that they are only going to want to snuggle with me and have me read to them for so long. By
Mm-hmm.
the time I'm finished the day with them and I've said goodnight to them and that I love them, and and I want the best for them. That it gives me a small window to either work on my school studies, catch up on emails that have to do with other things that are involved with family, um, catch up on, say, like emails to sign them up for things for extracurricular activities. I'm just going through some of the things that I've had to do recently. And then there's also putting in some time just for me, like just being able to sit down and watch a show and be like, this is my time, and I don't have to be there for anybody else. Sometimes when I've finished putting my kids to bed, then I have to clean up the kitchen. There's a very small window of things. And when I say clean up the kitchen, I'm not talking about like mopping the floor or anything like that. I don't get into that. I'm just talking about putting the dishes away from dinner.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a very small window that I have to just allow myself to just be. And I like watching Netflix. I like watching shows, and sometimes maybe I watch a bit more than I probably should. um, and then yeah. And so then I also try to read, and I listen to guided meditations. But I've always been somebody that's kind of fought sleep too. Like I even look back at who I was when I was a little girl, and I see it within my youngest son. And we can be nighthawks. But the thing is I don't know about him yet, but I know for myself that I know that I need a certain amount of sleep. And I now know from studying to become a counselor. And I mean, I knew this from studying to become a health coach, but I know this far more now from studying to become a counselor, that sleep, it is something that if we don't get enough of, it can lead, for some of us, especially those of us that need more sleep than others, we can like spiral down into negative thinking. It can impact the choices
Oh, for
that
sure.
when we're spiraling down to negative thinking, then we're less likely to make choices that are better for our health. She's this book. Whew, this book. This is a book I highly recommend people take the time to read. But there's some scary stuff in here. Like there's stuff I did not want to know. Like I
Yeah.
did not want to know how insufficient sleep can link to risks of developing Alzheimer's disease,
Oh, sleep is
um,
so important.
heart disease. And it talks about how, um, well, I knew that lack of sleep could lead to weight gain, right? Because then
Mm-hmm.
we don't necessarily get the same signals from our body, hunger wise. And also, I've noticed when I don't sleep, it's like it reminds me of those days when I partied a lot in university, and then I would have like almost that raw feeling in my stomach from drinking too much and then being hungover. And
Mm-hmm.
now that I'm not in my universities, I mean, look at my T-shirt, right? I'm from like the Rainbow Bright era. Um, yeah, I've noticed that those are the days that I tend to eat, and I don't necessarily feel that sensation of fullness the way. And so then, because I know that drinking water helps out with my blood sugar levels, I try to make sure that I drink a lot of water, because if my blood sugar levels are at a stable spot, then I know that that's going to help me out with my overall digestive system, and it's also going to help me out with my mood and yada yada yada. But yeah,
Yeah.
that's why I'm glad when I can nap, and I try to allow myself to nap if I need to, but that also depends on what I have going on in my life. So,
Yeah, sleep.
yeah.
I'll say minimum 6 hours, most 8 hours, to let
Mhm.
the body
Mhm.
repair. Especially if you're strength training, you want to be healthier. It's because our body goes through like 4 sleep cycles, and which I'm
Yeah.
going to send you that after this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, body goes through
Yeah.
like because if you don't sleep enough, it'll only go through that cycle a few times, and then it's like, oh, it first went through the cycle, light sleep, then lighter sleep, then light sleep, then heavy sleep, then touching eye movement, the REM sleep, and then it's like
Yeah.
when it goes through that cycle, it repairs the body, but not completely. So it has to go through another cycle to like maybe it missed some parts in the first cycle. So I'm gonna do that again. So when I've been sick, I'm almost I would say 90 to 95% better. So
Mhm.
I've been taking meds. I've been sleeping more. I've been taking a lot of vitamin C, fruits, and other like tea related stuff.
Mhm.
When
Mhm.
I went to the pharmacist, um, a week a week and a half ago, I told them
Mhm.
what other medications can I take, and they're just like, oh, you took Robitussin or the one that starts with B, Berkeley, something like that, for a week already. And I said my throat still hurts. They're like, okay, go to the doctor. And I'm like, okay, go to the doctor because what you need is an antibiotic. And so I did.
Mhm.
But they're like, oh, you have to wait here for like 1 hour and 25 minutes. I'm like, never mind. I'll do this naturally. I like to heal more naturally anyway. I don't want to
Mhm.
relying on drugs, right? So I'm doing that,
Mhm.
and it's almost like I'll say I'm 90 to 95% better. I've been like almost 3 weeks sick or 2.5 weeks.
Mhm.
Yeah, I prefer
Mhm.
the natural way. And it's like when I know we're going off topic here. It's like when I had shingles. It's like when I had shingles. I know I caught it early. At that time, I had low immunity, and I also thought maybe it was
Mm.
a period. And when I had shingles, um I went to the walk-in doctor, and they said like
Mhm.
they gave me like a level 3 or level 4 Advil and Tylenol along with 3 other medications. I took it and I was so dizzy, I was throwing up all over the place. And then when I went back
Mm.
to Taiwan one day and also see family in China, one of my mom's friends' granny was just like, oh, I could have just healed you naturally without any medication. I would just have like
Mm.
some kind of pinching in here
Mm.
the head and you'll be healed. I'm like, oh, okay. I did not know that.
Mhm.
Wow, okay. And
Yeah.
whenever like I have a fever and if I'm around my granny, she's like, oh, don't take medication. Just put ice on your back. She's gonna do like a massage with a scraper, like with the T-bone on your face, and that will help.
Yeah, but thing is, and that's wonderful that you have that knowledge. I have a friend that's actually studying to become a Chinese, what's it called? I was trying to say Chinese holistic doctor. I don't think I don't quote me on that the terminology, but basically, she's learning how to like make like the herbs.
Mm-hmm.
And but she talks about how like what she's shared with me is that not everybody can just take those herbs like that, say that consistency,
Mm-hmm.
because everybody's level of tolerances are different. So what I've learned from her is that some people it has to be like a little bit at a
Mm-hmm.
time to build up that tolerance so then they can handle that level of natural
Mm-hmm.
herb solution. Whereas other people, they don't necessarily have as negative, not negative, sensitive systems, and so they can handle it right away. And I just think that like I'm somebody that has had to learn over time, as much as I would love for everything to be natural too. Um, I've had situations where I've tried to go all natural, and
Mm-hmm.
then I've had my naturopath call me and tell me, how are you doing? And I've had to be honest and be vulnerable. And based on what my blood work had come back letting her know she was scared that I was going to end up in the hospital and have heart problems.
Because
So
of going
I've
natural.
had to go through times in my life where I've had to be okay with being on prescribed medication and
Mhm.
then seeking out holistic as well. So, and I've come across a podcast with there's a naturopathic doctor lives in Ontario who also interviews female medical practitioners, and they talk about how that women can be very, very hard on themselves and want to do everything holistically, but sometimes
Huh.
it's not possible. And sometimes it's also about having the level of knowledge and also the sources, the things available. Like I lived in Costa Rica for a while, and when I was in Costa Rica, I was able to take certain things for sore throats, but they don't exist over here. Like we don't have that tree outside. We can't go and scrape that tree and get that stuff and then make the drink. But when I was there, sure, it was great. I could do that. So yeah, I and I am you've probably been, well, I don't know if you made your audience aware that you're in the GTA. I don't live in the GTA. And so there are certain things that aren't as easy for me to get like it used to be when I lived in the GTA. So I've also had to kind of just take a step back and go, okay, this is my lifestyle now. I'm going to work as best as possible within my lifestyle. So,
Um,
yeah.
yeah, natural stuff is also you need to take time to like increase the dosage and stuff.
Hmm.
It's
Mhm.
still a drug, right? Even though you take natural and you mix it
Mhm.
all up, it's like maybe it's why I can't really eat Indian food. Like I can, but it just makes me bloated because they're mixing all the herbs together, and it's
Mm.
like there's this Chinese movie that I watched before with English subtitles, of course, because my Chinese is horrible. That this woman, this wife, was trying to kill the husband just all by using natural herbs mixed together in cooking.
Hmm.
Yeah, because she
Well,
calls it.
this that sorry, I thought you were finished. No,
If,
that go on, go on.
so if I find that movie again, I'll send you. I have to find it. I know it's written
Okay,
in my quotes. Yeah, but it's really nice. So what were we gonna
that's
say?
great. I was just going to say that, I mean, that makes perfect sense. I mean, like, we talk about, like, terms of things being natural and we want things to be chemical free, but even the air we breathe in is a chemical. So it's all about learning what things our bodies can handle and what things our bodies can't. And that's different for everybody. And I think that's also another challenge that moms face is they're not just looking after themselves. They're having to be aware of other people. And when it comes to, I've said to my husband, I am in a much better situation when I have followed a number of the foods that I have learned work really well for me um, through being guided through an AIP regime. Do you know what AIP stands for?
No.
It's autoimmune protocol. So I
Oh,
was
oh,
guided through that with a naturopathic doctor, and I tried to do it for 6 months, like she had advised, but I could only do it for 4 months because when I was at home, it was fine. But as soon as I stepped outside of my home, I had to take everything with me. If I
what do you
wanted to
mean?
go and
Oh,
eat somewhere else, I had to make a whole bunch of food and I had to take it with me. Um, and it was mainly to family members because I actually found myself not hanging out with friends as much during that time because I'm a foodie and food is a very social thing.
yeah,
But now but long story short, my digestive system has healed enough now. Like I probably had like that leaky gut syndrome going on, back when I was having some of the challenge that I was when I first sought out that naturopathic doctor. But
Mhm.
then through those 4 months, my stomach healed quite a bit. So then I was able to, I tried to gradually,
It's okay. Let's
tried to,
continue.
that's 30 minutes up. I tried to gradually introduce the foods back in that I had taken out.
Mhm.
That is a challenge on its own. I almost need someone to walk around. You almost need to have like someone on the back. Like you never see those like I don't know if those videos where like the person's almost like piggybacking the person around. They're like, don't eat that. Don't eat that. You're not ready to put that in.
Yeah.
So yeah, like all those things that are considered the what's the word? Those like potential inflammatory foods. Those foods that are potentially cause those sensitivities.
Mhm.
So
Um.
yeah, I've said to my husband, it would be really good if we went. I have a whole binder, like I have a whole binder of recipes, and I can't. Excuse me, I won't necessarily eat just those. I won't follow that to the T, but I will. I will definitely pick and choose, and I'll take more of the time to make those things.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um. Before I continue talking about sleep, one thing another thing
Mhm.
I like to mention is the reason why we also need to drink more water is because it's sometimes people confuse hunger with dehydration.
Mhm.
So it's a
Mhm.
way to control your hunger as well. So like I always tell my clients, and I also implement this, like drink water before you eat, drink water while you're eating as well, so you're not eating too quick, because and sometimes people want to grab a second plate, and then they're like, and then they're like halfway through the plate, or even not even halfway, they're already full because they don't know their hunger and fullness cues. So after before you eat, while you eat, after you eat your first plate, if you before you grab a second plate, wait 20 minutes for your body to digest before grabbing a second plate. So that way, okay, yes, I can still have more, but not too much, not the same dish. Yeah,
Mhm. Mhm. That
yeah.
makes sense.
Um, so in terms of you wanna improve your sleep, right? Do you have a sleep routine, like a night routine?
Sort of.
Okay, was it
Okay.
consistent? Uh,
Um, I would say it varies because I'm somebody that likes variety. Some nights I will drink um, like a nighttime tea. Like I like those. I think they're called traditional or organic. Medicinal organic. You can get them at Bulk Barn, Metro, Loblaws. What are some of the grocery stores in the GTA? Um, Longos. I used to shop at Longos. I think they had them at Longos too. Um, so yeah, like I'll just have that to help myself wind down. Um, I now have some magnesium. I believe the brand is CanPrev. It has melatonin and GABA in it. So I'll take that. I have a melatonin spray. It's berry flavor. The brand name is Naka. Do that. I like listening to guided meditation, so I usually do that to fall asleep if I feel that I'm going to need that. I also try to read a little bit. I try not to read like trying to get better about reading books that aren't so heavy, but I'm a student right now, and so like I'm reading this book. Last night I was reading part of chapter 7 because I have a test coming up soon. But I also do find if I can read something and it's not going to have me start worrying um, about something, or it's not going to make me excited, because sometimes I'll read something and I'll become so excited by it that then my whole night can be about my brain wanting um, to
Yeah.
almost get up and put those ideas together. But what I've recognized is I've always been this way. I remember even being this way when I was 10 years old. So I know that, I mean, I've been honest with you. I've been, you know, I have ADHD. I know I have inattentive ADHD now. So, like, I've been trying also to get through this book. Sometimes I'm reading this book. Um, so I would say for the most part, what I try to do more consistently is read a little bit. Like if I've been on my I'm trying not to be on my phone so much, and I seem to do better when I'm not on my phone. But if I watch a show like on my laptop or on the TV, if I read a little bit, like maybe even like 5 minutes, just so my eyes don't so that my brain gets the signal that it's not being exposed to blue light anymore, and that it actually is time to wind down. And then I will try to listen to a guided meditation that's designed to help me sleep. And I've found some that I really like. And I've, there are times where I've tried to like just do like listening to the sound bowls or the binaural beats. But if my brain is so active with thoughts, or I'll have songs that will just repeat over and over and over. So then listening to the guided meditations where I actually have somebody else's words and I like the
Mm,
sound of their voice and there's some calming music in the background and it's not so repetitive that I'm almost um, anticipating when the sound the music is going to start up again. Do you know what I mean? I
yeah, yeah.
remember this one time I was listening to in high school. I listened to Pachelbel's Canon. I had this like cheap CD, and that was the time during like the Discman. So I'd be listening to my Discman, and then I would get to know the song Pachelbel's Canon so well that when I got to the end, the next song was another version of it, and I was
Mhm.
like, "Oh my goodness, I know the song too well." So then I wouldn't fall asleep. I would just keep on listening to because I knew the song so well. I would almost start humming to it. I knew it. So what I guess I'm saying is that I've learned that I really need to have somebody's words to replace the words that I have going on in my head that are empowering words, they're gentle words, they're positive words.
Yeah.
Um, Voice is soft enough and I need music there. If
Mm-hmm.
there's no music there, I can't do it. The other day, someone sent me
Okay, okay. Um,
sleep hypnosis, and I couldn't do it. I needed the
um,
music.
if if reading a book keeps you interactive, like keeps your brain,
Mhm.
I would, I think I would recommend you to move it like earlier in the day so you can work on your sleep routine, right? Um, so how to have more of a consistent sleep routine is like um you need to get your mind ready for bed, right? Like I know that meditation helps, but you said your book will keep you active. So
Oh no, it depends on the book. Depends
oh,
on the book. So
okay.
I've found some books that are just fluff, and
Mm-hmm.
that's better. That's better
Okay.
for me.
So why don't you do that then?
I do. I have it beside my bed, but
Okay.
I just brought up these books that I thought were going to be part of this today. So I do.
Mm-hmm.
I have a whole book.
Uh,
It's just like basic drama fluff.
so
Yeah.
what a lot of people do is they choose what time they're gonna wake up, or they say they have to wake up at this time. So this is what, instead of how to work on your sleep routine, is like you're going to choose when you're going to be in bed by. So after you do that, you start your wind down routine, maybe an hour before it's time to go to bed. But if you're new to this, maybe like 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 30 minutes. Like for me, I can just easily plop on the bed and I just sleep. I don't really need a. I mean, I still do need a wind down routine, especially when I'm very active. But for me, probably it's just like 30 minutes, because many
Mm-hmm.
people try to do it the reverse, where they're like, let me focus on when I'm going to wake up. So when you go to bed earlier, you're naturally going to wake up earlier. So we're only going to focus on is when you're going to bed. So like I know like you're in school, you have a family, you have work too. So I think that varies. But having a consistent sleep routine, let's say you want to be in bed by 11 or 12, maybe aim for that instead of um varying times. But of course, if you're very tired, then um I guess you're gonna end up sleeping earlier, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
I actually use my husband as an accountability partner there. And
oh,
I'll
good
actually
for
say,
you.
okay, you need to literally drag me to bed right now. You need to tell me
Ha!
I this is where my childlike spirit comes out. I'm like, I don't want to go to bed. I don't want. Let me watch one more show. No, I don't want to go and read right now. But
How
then once I'm in bed, I'm like, ah, this is better. But I fight it. I fight it
mm,
like my youngest son. I know this about myself, and he
have you
knows it.
ever have you ever thought about, because your brain gets busy? Have you ever thought about journaling before going to bed? So all
Mhm.
your brain brain dumping.
Yep. Sometimes
You
I do that. Sometimes I'll actually do that in the middle of the night because sometimes I will wake up at like 1 a.m. and
mm-hmm.
then I will have so many thoughts going through my head. And maybe I've finished a guided meditation. It hasn't worked that time. So then I will get up and I will go and write. And sometimes it does help. It depends what I have going on in my life at the time.
I see. Cool. And then
Hmm.
I'll suggest putting electronics away at least 30 minutes to an hour before going to bed. Like, again, everyone is different, but it's a recommend, because for me, I once I go into bed, I easily just pass out.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
And
Well, I mean, I've got my phone here and I've learned that I can't actually put it fully away because that's where my guided meditation is.
oh, okay, so that's fine. But
Yeah.
maybe set an alarm in advance to remind you to, like, stop watching TV, stop scrolling on your phone. So set
Mm-hmm.
a reminder of that, because the electronic
Mm-hmm.
signal that you receive actually keeps your brain on and utilizing those neurons. So if you try to go to bed right after using your phone, like you're scrolling or watching TV,
Yeah.
it will actually take you longer to get into your sleep cycle. So you want to make sure that you're doing this in a way where you have your brain and body at rest and you can go to sleep faster. And then
Mm-hmm.
when you
Mm-hmm.
sleep, make your room as dark as possible. Um,
Mm-hmm.
keep
Mm-hmm.
you use blackout curtains, or if you don't, just put the, what do you call that? The
Eye
thing
mask.
over your eyes, the eye mask, yeah.
Mm-hmm. I do
And
all
make your
that.
room comfortable. Yeah, aim for 7 to 8 hours, and then
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
I'm very light sensitive, so I used to live in a house that had very light blinds, and I would actually prop up my pillow like in between um, my bed, like the rungs of the bed.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the backboard. No, you know what I mean, like the back. Yeah, the backboard of a bed, but it was a brass bed, and it had these spots where I could put the pillow, and I would literally sleep behind the pillow so that it would
Okay.
be dark. Yeah, they
Nice,
didn't
nice.
have an eye mask, and I don't know why. I think someone introduced me to eye masks. Or oh yeah, I have many eye masks, and I've introduced that to my kids too. And you can even get the ones that put a little bit of pressure on your eyes. Like I've bought some of those to see if my kids like those.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah. No, everything you're saying, it makes perfect sense, and I do a lot of that.
And then you
Yeah.
said you want to improve your energy. I see what you're eating is
Mhm.
pretty fine. Also
Mhm.
it's fine. Let me see. But I don't know the
Mhm.
portion sizes that you're having, but I feel like you're doing fine. But I'll send you a customized um portion control guide, a customized nutrition guide for you after this
Great.
call as well. You said your weight is around 140 pounds, right?
I think so. I think so. I rarely weigh myself. I think. like I mentioned in the thing, the last time I was weighed was when I saw my gynecologist.
Mm,
Yeah, and
okay.
she recommended this book, so I'm
Right.
reading this book now
Okay.
because I know this is a book that's going to help out that at some point, it's going to be of helpful for me when I'm registered to counsel people in Ontario, and I know that there are going to be some women that are going to need to know more about that book. So,
Right.
because
Right.
it's one that's recommended by gynecologists in Canada,
How
in
often would
Ontario
you
especially.
say? How often would you say you exercise in a week?
Oh, like are we talking about strength training? Or are we talking about just walking, swimming, anything?
Both.
Okay, strength training would be probably once a week, and then walking, swimming. I went kayaking yesterday. Um, I would say pretty much every day to every other day.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll say okay. We're doing all. I'll say swimming is still strength training, but it's better to do like a structured strength training routine, like 2 to 3 times a week. It'll help your
Hmm.
energy as well. Eating when you eat breakfast, you have like a carb with a protein, so you don't raise the insulin, right? You don't have coffee first thing in the morning. Have it like 90 minutes or
Hmm.
more, so not to
Hmm.
raise your cortisol, not to raise your insulin.
Hmm.
That also helps with menopause, whatever
Yeah.
menopause you're in. Um, yeah,
Um, sorry, go ahead.
regular exercise, a balanced diet, stress improving your stress management, and having a consistent sleep schedule will help. Like one of my clients is currently going through menopause or post, and then she said after changing her nutrition for a bit with the nutrition guide I'm going to give you that's customized to you, and I believe your weight is 140 pounds, so I'm gonna give you that. After like 1 week in my program, she had like less hot flashes. So now her hot flashes only come when she is stressed or when she had alcohol or caffeine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because the sugar tends to bring on the hot flashes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and also just eating something that turns into sugar would also affect that. I think I don't know if you have had clients where they have talked in like great detail about what it's like for a woman to go through perimenopause. Because menopause, remember, that's only a woman is only goes through menopause in one day.
Mm-hmm.
It's perimenopause and menopause for one day and then postmenopause.
Mm-hmm.
Perimenopause can last for 7 to 10 years. I know some women that have had hysterectomies because they were bleeding so much. They had to go through a hysterectomy. And then some women, they don't seem to go through that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, do you want to know about my experience with that?
Um, sure.
So, like,
Wait,
going to
what's
be completely
hysterectomy?
honest, because these are the sort of things. Pardon?
Hold a second. Hysterectomy is when they remove the ovaries.
Yeah, that's where they remove the whole uterus.
Oh, so you got that removed.
Not me. No, not me. But I know some women.
Oh, okay. So I thought you
Yeah.
were saying that you got that removed.
No, no, not me. Not me. Um, I'm hoping I don't have to go down that route. Um, but I can tell you that, like, I get why certain women might actually quit their jobs because of perimenopause, especially if they're working in an environment where um, they can't share about what they're going through because the level of bleeding can be so heavy that it's unreal. It's unreal. Um, thank goodness we live in a time where there are these period underwear that exist. Thank
Mm-hmm.
goodness we live at a time where there are such things as ultra tampons, because the level of bleeding can just, it can be constant. It can be it can happen a lot longer than the regular a regular period is. And it can drain a lot of a woman's energy levels because she's losing so much blood iron wise.
Wow.
And that's been my experience so far. Like I have experienced working using super plus tampons and having to change them every hour. And when you, if you don't get a break every hour, then you're having to ask people to cover you if you're like in a situation where you have to be covered, to so that the work can continue. Go to the washroom, and so there have been times where, yeah, if it wasn't like, I can see why women would need to wear almost that level of like a lot of women after they give birth, they find out that they have to use up all of those, almost like they're almost like these pull-ups
Mm-hmm.
that the hospital provides women after they've had a vaginal birth. And um, and then often women have to use Depends because they've bled so much, and it can get to that level. So like, I get why I'm grateful that there are now companies out there that are talking about, we've developed period underwear for for women, whether they're tweens, they're teens, they're young adults, they're in midlife, um, because up until
Hi everyone. I don't know why the recording stopped. I know there's no limit on this
okay,
app, so
okay,
um,
all
yeah.
right. So where were we?
So you were talking about like um, I forgot. Anyway,
Perimenopause.
um,
Talking
yeah,
about perimenopause, and I was talking about the reality of it. Like, it's
yeah,
not sexy. It's not sexy by any means. It's challenging,
for
and
sure.
I see why women might leave their current jobs because of it.
Uh huh.
Yeah, I get it. I mean, I had found articles prior to, actually, maybe I had just started going through what I had
Hmm.
read about. There are certain places say the Western world where women have had such heavy bleeding where it
Yeah.
has completely gone through their clothing, and they've had such embarrassing moments at work, and
Mhm.
they don't know what to do.
Mhm.
Because my experience is, I mean, there was one time I had my period for 6 weeks. I lost so much iron, I had to go for an iron infusion.
Yeah, I
And
was
I
going.
know a lot.
I was gonna ask you one question. If
Yeah,
if you said when women are going through perimenopause or what perimenopause, right? If they're going through
yes.
perimenopause and they're losing a lot of blood, will eating more iron help? Wait, actually no, right?
Actually, no, yes, absolutely. Because then that's helping to, oh, the words aren't coming to me. Um, that's helping to supply that woman's body with what her body is depleting her of, which is
Mhm.
iron.
Right. Oh, so if you eat more iron, it'll
Yeah.
help, right? You'll
Yes.
bleed less.
No, it's not necessarily that you're going to bleed less. It just means that it's going to help out with your energy levels. So I've been trying to do that. I'm taking iron supplements, and I've been thinking about like what foods have iron in them, and consuming those as well, like the dark leafy greens. There's lots of beans that have iron.
Mhm.
Um, certain kinds of meat. Hmm.
So well,
Oh,
certain.
I'm prone to anemia. My whole life, I've been prone to anemia. At
Oh,
one point in my life, I tried to be a vegetarian. This was when I was a teenager, and uh, and then I ended up having to go back to eating meat. My body, sometimes our bodies absorb iron different ways than others. So
you're prone to
even
anemia.
though I love vegetarian food,
Does it run in the family?
hmm?
Does it run in the
Say that.
family? The anemia thing?
Oh, possibly.
You're not sure.
Well, I think so. I think so.
Okay. So
I'm
if you're
gonna I'm gonna talk more. I'm gonna talk here though mainly about more about me than
yeah. So
my
if you're prone
family.
to anemia, I would say eat more iron, foods with copper. Um I have to
Mm-hmm.
look more into
Mm-hmm.
it. But yeah, I have to look more into that. Maybe stuff with magnesium helps. I'm not sure, but
Mm-hmm.
you said if you
Mm-hmm.
want to increase your energy levels and naturally balance your hormones more, eat more healthy fats. So your body needs fats to make hormones, so consuming a diet higher in fat can also help reduce inflammation and lead and yeah, and
Mm-hmm.
anti-inflammatory diet would be extremely beneficial, such as removing the most common inflammatory foods, so like dairy, wheat, and gluten, or just like have it less, not completely cut it out. So like consume more oils like coconut, extra virgin olive oil, and MCT, avocados,
Mm-hmm.
grass-fed butter, and
Mm-hmm.
it's very important to have keep a balanced ratio between omega-3 and omega-6 fatty acids, because many people
Mm-hmm.
consume more omega-6 fats as this comes from processed foods or vegetable oils. And then another thing is to eat the right types of carbohydrates, such as like, okay, there's no such thing as a bad carb, but eat the right type
Mm-hmm.
of carbohydrates, such as the more like quinoa, sweet potatoes, oats, fruits, veggies, yeah, and focus on the right portion sizes. So it's better to
Mm-hmm.
eat like carbohydrates, like white rice is fine, but like what is even better? You just want to be 1% better all the time, right? So eat like
Mm-hmm.
quinoa, couscous, brown rice, black rice. If you've heard of that, like
Mm-hmm. Love
forbidden
that.
forbidden rice. um,
I love the black rice.
And whenever you eat a carb, eat it with a protein and a healthy fat. So it will lower your
Mm-hmm.
rice and blood sugar as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
And
I
then it will
agree with everything you're saying.
slow down
Yep.
the digestion as well.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yes.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And then, hold a second. Oh, yeah. So it's called refined grains. No, wait, unrefined grains. I mixed up the two. Um, and then, sorry, hold a second. I'm gonna wait. Where did it go? Sorry. Working my way to being better.
Mm-hmm. That's all you
So,
can
yeah,
do.
you wanted to talk um about know more about perimenopause and how I help women with it. So I help them, like I if you ever if we ever get to work together or you want to work with me, like I coach you, you coach me. It's like I give a so know what everyone is different, right? Everyone has a different plan.
Mhm.
I basically give a customized training, nutrition, accountability, and lifestyle management. Like it's all customized step by step process. So um yeah. And like it's all customized technically. So and then
Okay.
we up every week we work on like 1 to 3 things, and then we stack on
Mhm.
it so you're not like overwhelmed. So basically that's
Mhm.
it. And it's like some people can see results in like 1 week. I don't mean with their body shape, but like because we work internally first before we work external, right? So like
Yeah.
one girl was able to um one girl was able to like have no heartburn after having no more coffee first thing in the morning. And also
Mm.
like my recent client is like less hot flashes after the first week because of the change in her nutrition.
Mm. Okay.
Yeah, you I guess you know all of this, right? Because we were talking
Yeah.
about it. Let me see what I wrote it somewhere. So when it comes to like changes for like PMS symptoms, hot flashes and stuff, a lot of times a
Hmm.
hot flash and a PMS symptom are hormonal fluctuations. So I help you balance your hormones
Yeah.
naturally with food. Like yes, I also sell supplements. Like I have ashwagandha, I have protein shakes. They're like not in my inventory, like but if you want them, I do that. But I always recommend the natural first before supplements. Like if you take protein shakes already, that's fine. Because I take protein shakes, right?
Hmm.
So whenever someone has a really high level of estrogen level, it then skyrockets really low within the same day. And that is what triggers effectively a hot flash or like a night sweat. So when someone eats a lot better, they change their portion sizes, they eat more protein, um, less carbs, not too much carbs, but we still have carbs, healthier fats. So let's say someone has a really processed diet, for example, and then in combination they're not really exercising or they're super stressed. It's common for their cycles to be all over the place because there's a lot of variables, right? They're not eating healthy
Yeah.
food, which helps with estrogen. Um,
Hmm.
so when someone starts to change their food, whenever whether it's making adjustments with nutrition, whether even they start exercising every single day, and it's like the customized workout, it's not doing random
Hmm.
workouts here and there. It's more customized. It's more structured. What
Yeah.
happens is all of these things ultimately affect the way that their hormones operate because the activity helps increase testosterone. Eating healthier is going to help stabilize estrogen, and then of course with exercising and sleeping regularly, they start to manage their cortisol too. So even though someone may not be actively trying to improve the symptom of PMS or hormone, like, or their um, their whatever stage menopause they're in, they might
Hmm.
notice a
Hmm.
significant difference just by doing the basics. So it's all about people always say, "Oh, I'm special. Oh, I'm special. Like I have PCOS, which I do. I'm going through menopause. Like yes, all of the symptoms. But if you just stick with the consistent basics and maybe other added stuff, so the basics is sleep 6 to 8 hours a day, eat better foods for you, not this food. You work out more consistently, and with a structured workout plan, you have less stress. You're eating less processed foods, then you'll see results. That's how it happens. Is people just stick with the basics.
Yeah.
Even with
Uh,
because I've seen a lot of
okay.
PCOS coaches, I've seen a lot of menopause coaches, I've seen coaches who do for autoimmune. It's all the same thing. Don't do a bunch of cardio. Don't do slow weighted training. When you wake up, don't drink coffee. Get sunlight for like 10, 15 minutes.
Hmm.
Get your daily steps,
Hmm.
stuff like that. It
Yeah.
works. I know that it's boring,
Yeah.
but it works.
Yeah.
There's
No, it's true.
people think
No, I
that
agree.
you need to do a bunch of hits, but like hit helps you lose weight, but it's more for maintenance than weight loss because it will increase the cortisol and the
Yep.
insulin.
Yep. Absolutely. I really like your idea with the elastic bands.
Hmm.
I've got some colorful elastic bands, and I might actually introduce that to my kids too. Just
Yeah,
that'd be
make it
something fun
colorful.
for them to do as well with me.
Make it colorful. You just have one kid,
Yeah.
right? Or two kids.
Two. Two. I have two sons, and they're
Okay.
at the stage where they're still listening to me. So I'll take advantage of that. Yeah,
How old are they again? 4?
8 and 10.
Oh, 8 and 10. Okay. Yeah,
Yeah,
they're still listening to you. Almost
yeah.
teenager though. So.
Yeah, the 10-year-old in that more of that tween stage. So yeah, but
So I know.
I like trying to incorporate things with my family too. I
Mhm,
find that works out well. I think might be able to get my husband to maybe do something with water as well.
mhm.
Um, so yeah,
So
no, I like that. I agree. I agree. It's the basics, and I think this book. I mean,
Like for
Why
sure,
are we
and
asleep?
also
Unlocking the power of sleep and dreams. Jeez, maybe he wrote his whole. This is part of his dissertation here, right? Like, so it's a PhD. So I'll read that and go through that, and I'm sure what I can tell you from the Menopause Manifesto is that there's a lot of inconsistency when it comes to perimenopause. A woman might think that she's not going to get her period, and then she can get on a plane, and then she can get her period, and it can be very, very heavy. So, women that are going through perimenopause for potentially 7 to 10 years, they just almost have to bring around everything. They almost have like the way that a mother who has is looking after a baby that needs to be fed and needs to be changed, almost carry around a bag for that. You just never know when it comes to day-to-day life
hmm.
with perimenopause. So it's
So
frustrating, but I just think more women need to know about that because I'm sure there are a lot of women that are going through what
yeah.
I'm currently going through, and it's not fun.
Mhm. Also in my program, I have we also touch on hormones. Like I for sure I teach my clients how to do macros as well, but that's like later
Mhm.
after they're done with being more consistent with the foundations.
Mm.
Because many people cannot be consistent, right? They don't know how to be consistent.
Yeah, I
Sure with
actually have
you.
a family member that has been doing the macro thing, and she really likes it. So um, maybe at some point I will do that too. But yeah, one thing at a time. I
For
gotta get
sure,
through my first challenges, my
which is
current challenges first.
which is
So
sleep.
sleep and perimenopause,
Uh
like
yeah.
figuring that all out.
So
And
what
I'm still learning things about what it means to have
mhm.
attentive ADHD.
So
So
whatever I just told you, does it all make sense?
absolutely.
Okay. I
Absolutely.
know I touched a lot and we talked a lot, and this will probably take you like a week or two to implement. The reason why it's one or two at a time, but I know I talk even we talk even more, is so you can build a habit at a time and not feel like you want to give up trying to implement everything at once. Even though I know we talked a lot. Mm-hmm.
Yes. Yeah. Habit stacking. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Just
Mm-hmm.
incorporate new. Well, a lot of it's a refresher for me. So it's about getting back into it. Some of the things I would like to get back into. I
Mm-hmm.
find in the summer, because I'm not currently working right now, that I get back into healthier habits. And also just the summer brings out those things, right? Like
Yeah,
I'm somebody that eats salad a lot, but I actually like taking the time in the summer more to make like a nice salad. And I've got some friends that are really into eating salads, and I've spent some time with them, and that helps to get me back into that.
yeah.
So
Um,
yeah, it's also
summer.
because I get bored. I get bored of food. I I I actually like going to different grocery stores because then I'm like, oh, well, then that's a way to make eating food more fun. There are times where I look at the food and in my house and I go, I don't even want to eat it because I'm so bored of it.
Mm, oh,
Yeah, I have to force myself sometimes.
I realized. Wait, I forgot already. Oh yeah. So at the end of this call, I'm going to send you the customized nutrition guide and also
Hmm.
a sleep. Okay, you know what? Let me write that down before I forget. Um, I'm going to send you my customized nutrition guide, and you're gonna have access to this recording as well. I'll try to pair it together to put on YouTube. I know I can do that on my phone, but not on the computer. I haven't done that yet,
Okay.
because I don't have iMovie here. I'm using a laptop, not
Okay.
a Mac. So okay, let's write it down. Send
Okay.
her customized nutrition guide, and I'll send you my sleep recording as well. That you can watch, and hopefully that will help you out.
Does
Yeah.
it have music in the background?
No, there's no. It's me talking about me giving a lecture about sleep.
Oh, okay. So it's not something I would listen to
No, it's not
try and get.
meditation. It's a lecture.
Okay, a lecture. Okay.
I have never given someone like a meditation guide yet. Maybe I should start one.
I'm thinking about doing that. I'm a classically trained singer, so I thought
Oh,
about maybe
cool.
there's a way I can. Yeah, I took a digital audio recording course right after I'd finished my master's of education, because of course I wanted just to take a course for fun, so I audited it. And what was great about this course was I was able to come up to the front of the classroom, and so there were some people in the classroom that could play like the guitar, and they knew how to do things with like the electronics up there, and I was able to just like they wanted me just to sing backup music.
Mhm.
So it wasn't necessarily saying words, I was going ooh ah, ooh. And so it's kind of made me think that maybe at some point I'll be able to do that for guided meditations for people. I think that'd be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's
Oh.
it for today, and I hope you actually implement the things. Yeah, and then yeah. Okay, so
All
that's
right.
it.
Thanks a lot, Pamela. This was
Bye.
fun.